Hey guys, Orbis here with part 1 of the I Want to Heal series. In this video we're going to talk about the armor sets, both craftable and drop sets. This is in no way the only sets you can use for healing. This is just my opinion based on healing all veteran content that this game has offered. With that being said, let's start with craftable gear. Craftable gear is a simple way of getting the right traded gear that will work for you. You can craft the exact piece, trait, and temper it how you want. Much easier and less time consuming than farming for a drop. However, you do have to have the traits learned in order to craft them. If you cannot craft them, there are many people in this game's been out for years now, that are willing to offer their services for crafting. Some of them charge a little bit of money for their time. The majority of the people, like myself, just require the materials needed to craft that gear, the trait gem, what tempers, and the actual material needed. That being said, let's look at the first set. We're going to look at the Seducer. The Seducer requires 3 traits in order to craft it. It has Magic Recovery, Max Magicka, Magic Recovery, and reduces the cost of your magic abilities by 8%. The Seducer can be found. I know the EP faction better than the other ones, so we're going to show you the EP. Why is it not zooming in? There we go. Can be found at the Barisan's Mine. Seducer set requires 3 traits. If you're lucky enough like me to have a guild that has all these crafting stations, does help out a lot. The other set we're going to look at is the Magnus set. Requires 4 traits. Grants Max Magicka, Magic Recovery, Spell Damage, and 5 piece if you go with it. When you cast a magic ability, you have an 8% chance to negate that ability's cost. When I first started healing, I ran Seducer Magnus. I ran 5 pieces on the body of Seducer. I ran a headpiece and shoulder piece of Magnus, and my staves were Magnus. Back then it was only a 3-piece bonus that I got from the Magnus set. However, now the staff grants 2 pieces, so you would get the spell damage bonus out of this. Was able to do a lot of the veteran dungeon content first starting out healing with those sets. Really good, really easy to craft, don't require a whole lot of traits. Magnus set can be found. Oh my god. My thing's messing up. Don't ask me to pronounce that shrine, but here in Shadowfen, Magnus set again requires 4 traits. Another crafting set to look at is the Law of Julianos. This set adds Spell Critical, Max Magicka, Spell Crit, and Spell Damage. This set is also can be used for a DPS as well. So you could craft this set and get dual purpose out of it. It does require the Orsinium DLC in order to craft it, and does require 6 traits, so a little bit longer research times to be able to craft it. But we go into Rothgar, and can be found right here at the Boreal Forge. Last set I would look at crafting, at craftable gear, is Kagranak's Hope. Kagranak's does require 8 traits to be able to craft it. It grants Max Magicka, Magic Recovery, Maximum Health. The 5-piece grants 2 pieces spell damage, and then it decreases the time it takes to resurrect an ally by 25%. When you successfully resurrect an ally, you restore 1500 Magicka. The Templar, through its passives, already gains resurrection speed. With this 5-piece set, literally takes no time at all to resurrect an ally. This set can be found. You do have to complete the Fighters Guild, and for EP can be found in the Rift. You go to Riften after completing the Fighters Guild. You will go to the Fighters Guild Hall, and there's a portal in here which will bring you to the Earth Forge, where it can be found to craft. That's it on crafted sets. Let's look at drop sets. We're going to start off with dungeons. First set we're going to look at is the Sanctuary set. Sanctuary. This set can be found in the Banished Cells, both 1 and 2, for drops. Adds max health, 4% healing taken, maximum magicka, and increases your healing received by 12% for you and up to 11 group members within 10 meters of you. Good set. Increases the healing taken for the people around you, so it's going to make your heals a little bit stronger. Again, Banished Cells. Next set we're going to look at is Worm's Raiment. Worm's Raiment can be found in the Vaults of Madness. Grants spell damage, max magicka, magic recovery, and reduces the cost of your magic abilities by 4% for you and up to 11 other group members within 28 meters of you. Both the Sanctuary set and this one beneficial for trials because you're having to heal 12 members, yourself plus 11 others. And like this set, the cost reduction is much like the Seducer. However, you are gaining the spell damage that the Seducer set does not have, and there again, the bonus of adding that reduction to everybody in the group. Worm's Raiment, found in Vaults of Madness. Next set we're going to look at is Spell Power Cure. Spell Power Cure can be found in White Gold Tower. Does require the Imperial City DLC. Grants max magicka, spell damage. When you heal a friendly target that is at 100% health, you have a 50% chance to give them Major Courage for 10 seconds, which increases their weapon and spell damage. You are buffing your teams. The faster that they DPS the enemy down, the less you're having to heal. The shorter the fight, the better it is for everybody. Great set. Only works on up to 6 targets and lasts 10 seconds. You do have to overheal with this set. That is the one downfall to it, but still a great set. Last set we're going to look at is Jorvold's Guidance. Jorvold's Guidance drops at Scalecaller Peak and does require the Dragon Bones DLC. Set bonuses: Magic Recovery, 2% healing done. It increases the duration of all major buffs, minor buffs, and damage shields you apply to yourself and allies by 40%. Great set. I use this a lot in endgame content. Again, Jorvold's Guidance, Scalecaller Peak, Dragon Bones DLC. So now we're going to move on to drops and trials. We look at Infallible Aether first. Now, Infallible Aether is a damage dealing set. However, it's great for the healer when you get into trial content, because the best in slot pieces for your DPS isn't one of them. So what it does is it grants spell crit. You do gain Minor Slayer, which increases your damage. As a healer, you're not putting out a lot of damage, but any damage that you do is helping to the overall group content, and you're adding 5% to that. You're going to add spell damage. The 5-piece grants 2 things: spell crit. Your fully charged heavy attacks do additional damage, and the enemies you damage with your heavy attacks are inflicted with minor vulnerability for 10 seconds, increasing their damage taken by 8%. This is huge. You afflict them with the minor vulnerability, that enemy is going to take 8% more damage from everybody. So great set. It drops in any of the Cragworn trials: Hellraw Citadel, Aetherian Archive, and Sanctum Ophidia. Next set we're going to look at is the Mending set. Healing Mage. Bonuses are Magic Recovery, Maximum Magicka, 2% healing done, and when you use an Area of Effect heal ability, you reduce the weapon damage of all enemies within 10 meters of you by 4. Well, this one does 415 for 3 seconds. That will change with the tempered. If I brought it up to gold, it'd be a little bit more. Great set. If you are in an area where a boss does a lot of damage or there's a ton of AoE damage, you can cast an AoE ability heal ability, and you're going to debuff those enemies, therefore making the damage taken for your group and yourself less and making it easier for you to heal. This can be found in the Etherean Archive. Next set we're going to move on to is Twilight Remedy. Twilight Remedy bonuses are Magic Recovery. This one grants minor Aegis, which reduces the damage taken by dungeon trial and arena monsters by 5%, making you a little bit tankier. And hey, if you're dead, you're not healing anything, so making you a little bit tankier helps out a little bit. Adds spell damage, and when an ally activates your synergy, they heal themselves for a significant amount of health over 10 seconds and gain minor force, increasing their critical damage by 10%. This effect can occur once every 10 seconds per ally. Great set. When you get into endgame content, most of your DPS are using skills that grant them minor force already. So it's a good set. It just everything depends on your group content and what's going on, but still a good healing set. Last drop we're going to look at for trials is Olarim's. Oh, I didn't go into Twilight Remedy. Does drop in Maw of Lorcage and does require the Thieves Guild DLC. On to Olarim's. Grants Magic Recovery. Again, grants minor Aegis with a 5% damage reduction. Magic Recovery. Casting abilities that leave an area effect on the ground in combat will create a circle of might for 10 seconds. You and your allies in the circle gain Major Courage for 30 seconds, increasing your weapon and spell damage for 30 seconds. This effect can occur once every 10 seconds. This can be put down by any effect on the ground. Your Spear Shards, if you're a Templar, can put it on the ground. Blockade can put it on the ground. Any ground ability while in combat is going to cast this. Just like Spell Power Cure, it grants Major Courage. Major difference in the two is this one lasts for 30 seconds, Spell Power Cure lasts for 10 seconds. This can actually buff the entire group, all 12 people, if placed right and people get inside the circle to gain the buff. Spell Power Cure only hits up to 6 people. So there's not one set that's better than the other. It just depends on the group composition and what you are doing, what you're trying to achieve. But great set. So that's it from the actual gear. We're going to move into the monster helms. So if you've progressed up to where you're able to do veteran content, you can actually obtain these monster helms. We're going to start off with Bogdan the Night Flame's Visage. This drops in Elden Hollow 2, the final boss. All of these helmets drop veteran dungeons from the last boss. One piece is going to give you Max Magicka. 2 piece, when you heal a friendly target, you have a 5% chance to summon a totem for 6 seconds that heals you and your allies within 5 meters for an amount of health every 1 second. This effect can occur every 6 seconds. Decent healing set. There again, each of these have their role and their purpose, but things to look into. Next set we're going to look at is Chokeethorn, or Chokethorns. 1 piece is Magic Recovery. 2 piece grants when you use a heal ability, you have a 15% chance to summon a Strangler Sapling that heals you or an ally for a substantial amount of health over 4 seconds. This can occur every 10 seconds. Really great set. There again, only picking 1 person every 10 seconds. Next one we're going to look at, which is my favorite, Earthgore. Earthgore drops in Bloodroot Forge and does require the Horns of the Reach DLC. 1 piece adds 2% healing done, increasing your heals. 2 piece, when you heal a friendly target that is under 50% health, you conjure a pool of quenching blood underneath them, which soaks up an enemy placed effect instantly and heals all friendly targets in the area for a ton. This one does 34,000 health over 6 seconds. And there again, this heals everybody. It's a pretty decent size AoE heal. The only bad part is it only procs every 35 seconds, and if somebody falls below 50% health. But Earthcore has saved so many people. It's a great set. Next set we're going to look at is the Sentinel set. Don't ask me to pronounce the last part of that name, but this drops in Dark Shade 1, the last boss. One piece adds 2% healing done. Two piece, when you heal a friendly target, you have a 10% chance to summon a Dwemer spider that heals for health and restores stamina to you and your allies within 5 meters every 1 second for 8 seconds. It has a 15-second cooldown. Good set. There again, has its role, has its purpose. Find out what works for you. Last one we're going to look at is Troll King. Troll King adds 2% healing done. When you heal a friendly target, if they are still below 50% health, their health recovery is increased by this one, 1494 for 10 seconds. That tick is every 2 seconds. They're getting that. Great set. There again, has its purpose, has its role. All these sets, find out what works for you. I've been healing this game since launch on console, and there is not one set that is the best in slot. What you go with, find out what works for you. And I hope you found this video informative. If you have any questions, shoot me a message in the bottom of the video, and I'll have my Discord information in there as well. You want to stop by, ask some questions. Here to help. The only thing we did not go into was jewelry. For beginner, if you did the Seducer Magnus setup, what you could run for your jewelry pieces is willpower. If you're just starting out, 2-piece bonus is going to add max magicka, 3-piece is going to add spell damage. Increasing our spell damage is going to increase our potency of our heals. Willpower sets can be found pretty cheap on the guild traders, and if you don't have the gold and don't want to spend on it, you can do your dailies. Your random dungeons, both normal and veteran, are going to drop your premium Undaunted exploration supplies, and you have a chance at getting willpower drops. Just note that the drops of the jewelry do come in healthy, arcane, and robust. Arcane is what I use on mine, and they all come enchanted with magicka recovery. There again, hope you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for part 2. We're going to go into Templar skills and usages. So, see you next time.